back in. It is The Scoop, another edition here in the off season. We have had some moves finally happen, so we're going to go over them, and then we're going to be updating the MLB teams tier list. Stay tuned here on The Scoop. Welcome on in. Sam Napoli here with you today. It's a Century Baseball podcast. You can find us on YouTube anywhere, really, on social media. YouTube's the one where the most content comes out at Century Baseball, or you can find this podcast as well on Century Baseball, no matter where you're listening from. Thank you very much for being here with me today. As I said, we finally had a little bit of action going on in the MLB circles. I'm just going to pull up Twitter just in case I'm missing anything, but we'll go over the hot stove. Not even the MLB website is updated yet. It's kind of a couple days outdated. But regardless, we're going to update the MLB teams tier list as well as a part of today's episode. So without further ado, we are presented by Geek. You can use code Century17 on SeatGeek. Grab yourself $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. That's code Century17. No matter what you're in the market for, any sports, NHL, NFL, NBA, those are the big ones going on right now. You'd also find concerts on SeatGeek. Great platform. They always give you the best deals, and you could save yourself $20 off those deals with code Century17 and help support the podcast. So, a few things happened. There was really two big moves. We had one of the free agent pitchers get signed this morning, actually, and then we had a big trade. And then kind of a more minor trade, but I guess we can start with that one. Jose Siri, let me pull this up real quick. This is the trade tracker. It only goes up to Kyle Farmer, who, I think he got a 1-year deal with an option, but we're not really going to go over that. He's a Rocky. Jose Siri is the one that we're going to go over. He was traded. Eric Orzi is the guy who went back from to the Rays, and then was not good in the big leagues last year, but some kind of prospect, I guess. Jose Siri is an interesting one because he's kind of there now. He's going to replace what Harrison Bader was more than likely. I think Jose Siri has more upside than Harrison Bader does, because Jose Siri can play the same kind of caliber of defense, but we've seen Jose Siri hit 30 home runs in a year and have like a pretty solid offensive season. It's a good pickup for the Mets. It's a good depth piece. Like Epler's kind of making more depth type moves right now, probably trying to set himself up to bring in a Soto, a Bregman, someone like that. I still love the fit of Bregman to them much more than anything else. Like obviously Juan Soto fits anywhere, but the fit of Bregman is great, especially if they don't want to bring back Alonso, because you can slide Vientos to first and have Bregman play your third base, or have Bregman play second if you do bring back Alonso, and then you're not as reliant on a Jose Iglesias who's probably going to regress this coming year. The Mets are making really nice moves. I loved that trade for them. Jose Siri makes a lot of sense. He's a good fit. Seems to be a lot happier. Last year, obviously, not as good of a year, but we've seen him do stuff in the past. Second time being traded, too. He was on the Astros before. The other big trade that happened was we saw Jonathan India go to the Royals. This one was speculated for so long. I feel like even at the deadline, this was such a popular pick. India going to the Royals. It's a fantastic fit. They needed someone else. I said they need to pick up an outfielder in free agency. I still think they'll do that in like Santander. This is a great fit. You've got your other guy to be there with Bobby Witt Jr., and I don't think they're even done in the trade market. I still think they're going to go out and get like an Alec Boehm or someone like that, another infielder, and probably try to move on from Michael Garcia, a high upside but also a low downside kind of guy. They probably just need to get rid of off their roster. Bringing in Alec Boehm, kind of a steady, consistent guy. Now we're looking at an infield. Pasquantino, India, Bobby Witt Jr., Alec Boehm. That's something special. Even if you plug and play someone else at third base right now, you've got a good infield. India's a great pickup. Last year, he didn't have a great offensive season, but second base is not a great offensive position overall. India's probably one of the 7, 8, 9 best second basemen in the game. You add him to this Royals team, you're moving off who? Like Kyle Isbell, someone like that, out of the lineup. It's a big upgrade. It's a great upgrade. Who'd they give up? Brady Singer. Well, they also brought in Joey Wiemer, but I feel bad for that guy. Double traded too. But Singer's the big one for the Reds, right? He had a much better year last year than I thought. I remember when Brady Singer first came up, he was kind of like the Royals guy back when they were bad. It was like the only thing really keeping them competitive at the time. As I want to say 2021. As far as I remember, he had Tommy John, he had TJ, and came back. This past year, he had a pretty excellent year. It's 3.71 ERA, 170 strikeouts. Like, that's no joke, especially for a guy who in his own rotation was like a 3 or 4 starter. The Reds pick him up, and they've got a pretty serious 4 starters now in the rotation with Hunter Green, who third in Cy Young, I believe. Nick Lodolo, he's up and down. I get it. He's hit or miss, but Lodolo's got great upside. Brady Singer now, and then Nick Martinez, who they gave the qualifying offer to. No way he turns that down. Now you've got 4 legitimate starters, and your 5th starter is just, you plug and play him. They've got to figure out some kind of consistency on the hitting side, and this team can compete easily. They've got Alexis Diaz, who I know had a down year last year, but that's another guy who at any moment can just come right back, just like his brother, right? They're very similar in that way. The move for the Reds made a lot of sense. India was always expendable. It's been like that for forever. And, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. You've got De La Cruz at shortstop, and Matt McLean, who I'm blanking on. McLean's coming back. He was hurt last year. You're probably playing him at second base. He had a really strong rookie year. If he can come back and be any version of himself again like he was, that middle infield looks nice too. They've got depth. They probably still need to bring in an outfielder. I mean, Friedel, we don't know what he's going to be. He had one really good year, and he was hurt last year again. That was what went wrong for the Reds, is that they were hurt at all their strengths, right? All their pieces that were great got hurt. Ellie took a step. Can he take another step and cut down on the strikeouts? I don't know. It's probably just part of his game. Brady Singer being brought in adds to this roster tremendously, and they can probably compete with those 4 starters alone. And any kind of offense that you hope internally improves, and you probably need to bring in somebody to do something, Anyway, that's the 2 trades that happened. And then the one transaction that happened earlier today, the Angels are starting to cook up some kind of offseason. They've been the most active in free agency by far, as they always are early on. But they bring in today Yusei Kikuchi, and I believe it was 3 for $63. That's pretty high money. I mean, that's the kind of contract we've seen like a Stroman get that one time. We saw Tyon get something like that. We're probably going to be seeing Jack Flaherty get something like that. Flaherty maybe a little bit more. Kikuchi, another guy who this past year had a really strong year. With the Blue Jays, he was at first. He gets traded for Loper Fido and Barger and guys like that. Loper Fido was the big piece in that trade. He struck out over 200 guys this year. Like, he's got real deal stuff. His strikeout potential is there for Kikuchi. He never really put it together for a full year in the major leagues when he was with the Mariners, really even with the Blue Jays, ERA over 4, over 5 every single time. This year, he found something, and then he went to the Astros, and he was maybe better. And he earned himself the contract that he got. The Angels, that was the type of move they needed. Someone who's not super, super long-term, who they can lock up like that. Now you've got Tyler Anderson, I believe, in the last year of his deal, too. That's a good one, too. Patrick Sandoval can be good for you at that time. Reed Detmers, what's he going to be? I have no idea. He's thrown a no-hitter. I don't know. He's got real deal stuff. They're a confusing team, I know. But to be honest, Kyle Hendricks they brought in. But to be honest, they've improved their roster enough to where you can think, can this team be average? They do it every year. I know, they do it every single year. Can this team be mediocre? Maybe. Well, we'll see. I do have an idea for them in the tier list. I think they've definitely improved themselves in the MLB circles as far as how they are comparatively, because they're really the only team that's done anything overall this year. They've done the most in free agency. The Jonathan India trade was really the only other thing that really happened so far as free agency. Barring that I am missing some big piece of news that's come out recently, I guess I can check real quick, because that's pretty much all we've got. Yeah, there's Juan Soto stuff. There's meetings going on. Phillies apparently decided to meet with him after we had that big, I don't think the Phillies are going to get him. We had that big talk, but I'm not seeing any news otherwise, though. Yeah, the Angels, Kikuchi, Darno, Hendricks, Soler. That's their four pieces. Like, that's real deal, dude. And if they could trade any one of those guys, maybe not Kikuchi because he's got the 3 years attached to him, but any one of those guys could be traded at any point and get you something back in return. So I said we had a little more news than ever. I mean, it's true, more news than ever on an episode we've had so far, but still not a whole lot going down as far as the off season goes. The stove was hot, hotter than it was before, because the last thing we were relying on was Kevin Newman as our news. But regardless, Century Baseball merchandise is available now. Click the link in the description to get yours today. We're going to quickly transition here into updating our MLB teams tier list for this week. I thought that it would save. Apparently it didn't. I think it's because I made a thumbnail with it. Regardless, you know the tiers. We got 6 of them. The elite, the great, the good, the mid, the meh, and I decided to call the last one Le Pou. We're not really going to explain each of them like a whole lot, maybe towards the top. I will start at the bottom, though. The White Sox obviously still have to be down at the bottom. The worst team I've pretty much ever seen. Marlins also have to be here. Probably going to be the second worst team I've ever seen. As far as other teams that deserve to be down here, the Rockies for sure. We can put them. I don't know if I'm seeing another team that deserves to be way down, though. I don't think so, dude, because I have thoughts about a lot of these other lower-end teams and why I think they should be a little higher up. So we'll put these, I think these 3 teams are in a league of their own of like, they're so much worse than everybody else, especially the White Sox, which will just for site purposes. Like, they're so much worse than everyone else. I think they have to be lower. These 3 have to be lower for sure. If I see something else, then I'll add to it. But teams like the Pirates, the A's, the Nationals, and this is where I think I'm gonna put the Angels. Like, they're close, dude. I love their moves, but until I hate to say this, like until something else on the hitting side happens, which I don't know if will happen the rest of the offseason, they don't deserve to be really anything higher than here. Maybe my mind will change and I'll bump them up here at some point, but those 4 definitely deserve to be down here. Excuse me. Other than that, because I still like the Blue Jays roster. I don't think I can put them that low. I think those are the 4 for this tier. Like, they're definitely better than these 3. Think of the Pirates, like there's talent on that roster, and they have a real rotation too. The A's, like the A's were weirdly better than they had been. Like last year, they were better than I expected. They still were bad though. Like I think that they're better than these 3 teams though. So I'm trying to put across. They've got talent on their team. The Rockies have talent on their team too. However, they non-tendered Cal Quantrill. That may have been the most confusing move I've ever seen in my life because he was like the one pitcher on the planet that could actually pitch in that ballpark. I don't know what they're doing. Whatever. Someone should pick him up. He was good. He could be like your 4 or 5 starter for a contender for sure. Like maybe the Reds should pick him up to be their 5. You know what I mean? Like something like that would definitely work. Anyway, Nationals, they've got good young talent. I could easily see them trying to make a playoff push by the end of this year, for sure. Especially if they pick up someone like Alonso or Bregman, or if they bring in like Carlos Santana, feels like a fit for them too. A's, I might be pushing it a little bit. They may deserve to be down here, but I'm gonna bump them up here just for the time being. I'm gonna look up where I had them last week though, because I do wonder. I have a feeling I had them in the bottom tier. I think this was the last tweet on the Century Baseball page, though. Let me just take a look real quick. Did I really not post? I thought I posted the thing. Maybe it's on the Instagram. Anyway, those are the 4 teams that I would put down into that tier. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find this. Post that I had. All right, maybe not. Anyway, we can move up to the mid tier. Teams like the Cardinals, definitely. Teams like the Giants. They're on the brink. I think they're between mid and good, but we'll put them there. I can't put the Blue Jays any higher because of how poorly they finished last year. We can put them in mid for sure. The Rays can't go any higher. Same deal. Twins definitely cannot go any higher. I may have had them down here. I feel like I was like, that's a little harsh, but they arguably could be down here. I'm not liking the Twins at all. I don't like their future either. Other than that, Mariners have too good of a roster to put in mid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They've got too much talent. Too much talent. Same with the Rangers. Like, I can't put them down there. Reds will put, like, they have a talented roster, but they brought in Brady Singer. I think they'll put them at, they're at the top of this tier. Same with the Angels. Like, I can't move them up. They're the same exact deal. These two teams on the rise. Other than that, I think that's it for the tier. I might put the Red Sox here until they make a move. Yeah, because they haven't made a move yet, so you got to put them in this tier. Until when they make their move, or 2 or 3, like they say they will this year, we'll move them up for sure to the good. They can't go any higher than good because we haven't seen them make the playoffs yet. So, the Diamondbacks might need to go in this tier too. They didn't make the playoffs. I think they're a tier above these teams, though. We'll start them off in the good tier. Diamondbacks don't deserve to be down here. They can go there. Rangers definitely, because like there's still so much on that roster. They just had the worst World Series hangover I've ever seen. Them and the Red Sox in 2019. Those are the worst World Series hangovers. Mariners can't go any higher. Their rotation's so good. Deal Ferment to grab a hitter, please. Oh, the Cubs. The Cubs roster's so good. They shouldn't be here, but we're going to put them there. Oh, Guardians, like, I can't put them any higher than good because I don't believe in their roster either. They need starting pitching badly. And they dealt away Eli Morgan, too. Oh, man. Braves are getting healthier. They can't go in this tier. O's can't go in this tier. I think Tigers have to go here. Like, we're on the hype train, obviously, but realistically, they haven't made a move yet either this offseason, and they went on like a magic run. I think we can put them in this tier and be satisfied with it, top of the tier. Same with the Royals. The Royals made a pretty needle-moving move, though. Oh. Yeah, I think the Royals move that's one that propelled them because we saw them in the playoffs, right? They filled a hole. They definitely filled a hole because they've still got a rotation. They've still got a real rotation, too. Lugo Reagans is automatically going to give you something. And then you've got Waka as well. Dealing Singer is not going to hurt them a whole lot, especially bringing in India. So this tier is going to be filled with a lot of teams because the Brewers can go in good as well. They'll probably be good next year, but we haven't seen them make it out of the first round in a while. Other than that, these rosters are too good, and we saw the Mets do well, go to the championship series, and they've got real sustainable. Like, the Guardians is not sustainable. The Mets don't have their guys re-signed, though. I'm going to put the Mets in good. I know that's a hot take, but they have a lot of people to bring back, and it hasn't happened yet. Whereas a team like the Braves, no one's leaving. They non-tendered Ramon Laureano. Oh, well. They're only getting healthier. They're going to be way better this year. And they might take the division back. Orioles have to go here. Their roster's really good. They still need to bring in starting pitching, though. Like, even without the starting pitching, we know their lineup is talented enough. Yeah. And they were in the playoffs. I know they lost in the wild card, too, but they're different. I don't know. Too much talent on the Astros roster. They have to go in great. Yankees, until they bring back Soto, can't go any higher than this, and their roster, like their starting pitching keeps them in this level. Phillies, like the only thing that's leaving is like Hoffman, and that's a big piece, right? Like that's a big piece of their bullpen, but they're probably gonna, if they don't bring him back, because I know he's trying to be a starter, then they'll go somewhere else. Then the Padres, in a similar boat, no one's really leaving, but they need to get something. They probably need to bring in another starter. I think Snell might go back to them. I think that's their move, to be honest. Bring back Snell. Bring him home. Then the only elite team's got to be the Dodgers. I know I had the Yankees there last time. That was a mistake. Until they bring back Soto, if they do, they definitely do not deserve to be an elite. The champions can be the one team there. No one's really leaving them either. Teoscar obviously is the biggest one, but I think they might just bring Teoscar back anyway. We'll see. That's the team's tier list, and that is actually going to do it for today's episode. I know it was a pretty quick one, but not a lot's really going on. We covered all the moves that happened pretty in depth, so hope you guys enjoyed the video or the podcast. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and follow everywhere so you don't miss out on any of the content. Century Baseball is where all the content's being posted. Make sure you guys are getting there and watching. Thank you very much for being here. Enjoy your day. God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.